Welcome to 365 Christian Men, where every day we aim to inspire and encourage with real-life stories about men. September 4th, Vince Bousselaire. Vince was a meat cutter for King Soopers for 21 years. When he was 39, he became a pastor, and about 3 years later, he got interested in mountaineering with a twist. Vince summited all the mountains in Colorado that were at least 14,000 feet high. Locals called them 14ers, climbing many of them twice. In fact, Vince was so committed to this that he took on a part-time job as a painter in order to pay for the travel expenses. Vince saw a correlation between mountain climbing and his Christian life. He believed God was for him, and he went for the win. On this date, in 1998, Vince reached the top of Crestone Peak in Colorado. Listen to this inspiring story of a man sold out for God.
Radical vision, believe God is for you, and go for it. Vince sucked in the thin air. Some time ago, he had passed the tree line. With a few steady steps, he and his friend Mike would summit Crestone Peak. Vince had already met their goal of climbing all of the Colorado 14ers, but he thrilled in sharing Mike's victory climb, his 54th peak. They had climbed over the boulder fields and the dangerous beds of loose rock. They'd been rained on, sleeted on, snowed on, and generally sunburned. But every climb had been glorious. Vince sensed God's presence as he challenged his body in the majesty of creation. That's when the spiritual, mental, and physical blended together. As he pulled a Bible out of his day pack, Vince thought of Ray Cobb, his first climbing buddy. In his 70s and his 80s, Ray had climbed all 54 14ers and planted a Bible at the top of each. Now, Vince and Mike carried on Ray's tradition and replaced Bibles that had gone missing. Ray's vision for climbing had become Vince's inspiration for strong, courageous living. He needed goals to keep him healthy. Vince had beaten non-Hodgkin's lymphoma with prayer and determination, along with radiation and chemo. As he fought, he had believed God saw his struggle and had a purpose for it. Vince refused to be a victim. Life was about perseverance. He believed God was for him, and he went for it, just like he did when he climbed a mountain. At the top, Vince and Mike always read a little from the Bible, so he opened it. He often chose a psalm. Psalm chapter 8, 1 through 4. O Lord, our Lord, how excellent is thy name in all the earth. Who has set thy glory above the heavens? What is man that you are mindful of him? The God who created such grandeur had been mindful of Vince and allowed him to live and enjoy days like this. Vince and Mike asked God to help those below who had struggled with health issues. The men prayed for the surrounding area, for their country, and for Israel. As gathering clouds blocked the sun, the temperature dropped. Experienced mountaineers knew to summit early and get off the peak before afternoon storms. So Vince and Mike made their descent. They had met their goal, but now Vince had a new goal: the 7 highest peaks in the world, the highest peak on each of the 7 continents. He would climb them all, leave a Bible, and pray for each of the continents. In 2001, Vince climbed Aconcagua, left the Bible at the top, and prayed for the people of South America. In 2002, he planted a Bible on Kilimanjaro and Denali. In 2003, he celebrated 6 years of being cancer-free by climbing Everest. Because he had pulmonary edema, he didn't summit, but his Jewish friend carried a Bible to the top for him. On December 27, 2005, he prayed and planted a Bible on the last of the 7, Vinson Massif in Antarctica. In 2008, Vince joined friends for one last world-class climbing trip. They summited Mount Blanc in France. His friends snapped a picture as Vince knelt in the snow, stretched his hands out toward the nations below, and prayed. The team then traveled to the Matterhorn. On August 5th, they made the summit after a 6.5-hour ascent. Vince prayed for Switzerland and planted his last Bible. A turn in the weather hastened their descent. While traversing a snowfield in the fog at 13,100 feet, Vince and Carolyn, his climbing partner, fell to their death. With that last ice-encrusted step, Vince entered the greatest ascent of all. Vince died as he had lived. He faced risk, believed God was for him, and he went for it. Vince captured his God-sized goal, knowing that without God, it would be impossible to accomplish. What God-sized goal has God put in your heart? Believe God is for you and go for it.
Thank you for listening to today's story. Every day of the year, our hope is to inspire you with real-life stories of faithful men who have gone before us. For today's story, we have a free one-page group discussion sheet available on our website. Please join us tomorrow for another story at 365christianmen.com.